But every doctor seemed to say the same thing, that her condition confused them because it did not fit the typical pattern, and it would worsen over time, but they couldn't say whether that was tomorrow or 5 years from now. McKenna has undergone a total of 13 invasive bone marrow biopsies under anesthesia in the past 3 years, with her most recent double biopsy in June of 2014 at the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. Her next bone marrow biopsy will be in 6 weeks at Nationwide Children's Hospital. We continue to look for answers and to work with her medical team to determine her best course for treatment. In January of 2014, when we were about 2 years into our battle, I received an enormous surprise in the mail. My wonderful mother had sent McKenna's name and her story to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Being my mother, she knew how hard times were for the both of us, even when I was doing my absolute best to hide how much I was hurting for McKenna. Before I knew it, my days went from waking up wondering if that was going to be the day that McKenna's condition worsened, to each and every day filled with excitement that my baby girl was having her biggest wish in the entire world granted, going to Disney World. From that day forward, I knew that everything was going to be okay. I had an entire national foundation standing behind us, supporting us, and wanting to do everything they possibly could for McKenna. Shortly after receiving the envelope saying that Make-A-Wish wanted to grant McKenna's wish, 2 volunteers came to our house with toys and Barbies for McKenna, pizza, cupcakes, and more joy to our house than had been there in a very long time. After McKenna told her volunteers she wanted to go to Disney World, they planned the entire trip for us in just a few short weeks. They returned a few weeks later with yet more surprises for McKenna and gave us everything we could possibly need for our trip. From our itinerary to our hopper passes to all the Disney parks to our step-by-step plan for getting settled in Orlando. Unfortunately, it took us several attempts to actually get on the airplane. We were first scheduled to fly to Florida in late February of last year. On the morning of our departure, McKenna woke up with the flu. We were both devastated and quickly reminded of the unpredictable nature of her illness. Make-A-Wish handled the entire situation with such grace and presented all the calmness that I needed at a very stressful time of having to tell McKenna that we had to wait until she was healthy to go see Mickey Mouse. But when we finally got to go on May 5th, seeing her face was well worth the wait. From the limo ride to the moment we landed in Florida, McKenna was treated like an absolute princess, all because kind, generous people, including the flight attendants and pilot, saw that she was wearing her Make-A-Wish button on her t-shirt. My absolute favorite memory from our trip, which I know is much different than McKenna's favorite memory of meeting every single Disney princess, is our flight to Florida. The pilot brought McKenna to the front of the plane so that she could announce the arrival time and destination of the flight. As I was watching the video last night, I decided I had to share with all of you what she said over the speaker. Captain McKenna speaking. We're going to Disney World to see Mickey Mouse. It's about a 2-hour flight, so sit back, buckle up, and no whining. This is my favorite memory because from the time we stepped on the plane, I had no idea what to expect. I knew it was going to be a week I could only dream up for my daughter. But never would I have thought that just our plane ride to Florida was going to be a dream come true. And all because the pilot saw McKenna's button and insisted on making the trip for McKenna as perfect as it possibly could be. When our flight landed, we were greeted by volunteers from Give Kids the World Village. Give Kids the World Village is a charitable organization that partners with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to provide accommodations for families visiting Orlando. Its founder is a Holocaust survivor who only wanted to give children the best life has to offer. Our village volunteers helped us get through the airport and even stayed with us until we were safely in our rental car. Now, I'm sure if you asked McKenna what her favorite part of the week was, she would tell you that it was ice cream. At Give Kids the World Village, the ice cream parlor opens at 7 a.m. because in the founder's words, kids should be able to eat ice cream for breakfast. The ice cream is unlimited all day long, and McKenna figured that out very, very quickly. What more could she possibly want? Another favorite memory of McKenna's was the carousel at Give Kids the World. She was allowed an unlimited amount of rides. So between that and unlimited ice cream, she was already in heaven before we even stepped into a Disney park. Another favorite part of our trip was meeting all of the Disney princesses at a fancy luncheon. McKenna got to parade around the whole castle at Epcot holding Snow White's hand, with all of the other children following. We also got to feed the dolphins at SeaWorld and move to the front of the line to meet Anna and Elsa. And if anyone is familiar with Frozen, you will believe me when I tell you that the wait was over 5 hours long. I could stand up here all day and tell you the hundreds of ways that Make-A-Wish Foundation has made our week at Disney an unforgettable experience. It is an absolute miracle what they have done for me, my daughter, and my family. I am so happy to tell you that McKenna's condition is remaining stable, and we will be anxiously awaiting her next biopsy in June. I know in my heart that this is because of all the hope and faith and true happiness that our trip and entire experience brought to us and everyone in our lives. After we got home from our trip, I knew from that day forward I needed to put a smile on my face and be as strong as I possibly could, because even on my best day, McKenna was 1,000 times stronger than I was. I will never be able to say thank you enough to every person involved with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and everyone involved with Chi Omega. They're truly changing lives and making miracles happen every day. My daughter is hopefully on her way to recovery and living a healthy life. And I know that I have the Make-A-Wish and Chi Omega to thank for a lot of that. I will be involved with this foundation, whether through volunteering, donating, or simply sharing their stories on Facebook. Make-A-Wish is a charitable foundation, but the people of Make-A-Wish, their donors, and the gift of McKenna's Make-A-Wish trip have become the foundation upon which we have been able to build McKenna's path of hope, her path to health, and her path for a very bright future. Thank you again for having us here today.